Welcome to The Explainer. Have you ever wanted to understand the deeper psychology of attraction? Well, today we're unpacking a source that lays out 30 distinct principles of female psychology, and we're breaking it all down into a simple four-part framework that makes sense of the emotional world of connection.
All right, so how are we going to tackle all this? Well, we've organized everything into 4 key pillars that build on top of each other. We're going to start at the very bottom with the foundation, the emotional world, and then we'll work our way all the way up to what this source calls a deep and lasting connection.
So let's jump right into pillar number 1, the emotional core. You can think of this as the fundamental operating system for connection. It's all about getting a handle on the how and why behind emotional responses.
Okay, so a huge idea right off the bat from the source is this. Memory is first and foremost emotional. This means the focus should always be on the experience you're creating. You know, the specific words you say, they might fade, but the feeling you leave someone with, that sticks around.
Now this slide here, it illustrates a really key difference that the source material points out. It suggests that women, on average, use a lot more words in a day, and often it's to emotionally regulate and just process things. The source contrasts this with men's communication, which it says is more focused on problem solving. So understanding this is absolutely critical. The goal isn't always to fix something. A lot of the time, it's just to listen.
So, the big takeaway from this first section is pretty clear. Connection isn't some lightning strike, one and done kind of thing. No, it's an emotional process. It's built up slowly, through consistent positive experiences. It's not about one huge grand gesture, but a steady accumulation of good feelings over time.
Okay, so if pillar 1 was the foundation, our second pillar, the language of attraction, is all about how you actually build on it. This is where we get into the specifics of communication that, according to this source, are what really create that spark.
Yeah, the source doesn't mince words here. Your tone weighs more than your actual words. The emotion behind what you say, your energy, your presence, that's what communicates your real intent and your level of security. I mean, you can say the exact same sentence with 2 different tones and get 2 completely opposite reactions. That's subcommunication, that's everything. And this is where it gets really fascinating. The source breaks down attraction into this whole multisensory experience. It's not just about what she sees, it's your voice, the sound and the tone you use. It's your scent, it's your posture and how you carry yourself in the world. And finally, it's the overall energy you give off. She is subconsciously taking in that whole picture. This brings us to the power of curiosity. The source argues that leaving things to be discovered, well, that's what keeps her mind engaged and builds that feeling of anticipation. If you just lay all your cards out on the table right away, you kill all the intrigue. That little bit of controlled mystery is presented as a super powerful tool for attraction. All right, this brings us to pillar 3, the foundation of desire. Now this one's a little different. It's less about what you do in any given moment and way more about who you are. These are the deep character traits that this framework claims can sustain attraction for the long haul. So just look at this chart. It does a great job visualizing a key principle from the source. Consistency is valued way more than intensity. The argument is that a steady, reliable presence shows stability and maturity. Those inconsistent bursts of high intensity, they can actually signal insecurity.
Next up, the source introduces this concept of polarity. And the idea is actually pretty simple. It's that attraction thrives on contrast and difference, not on being the same. As you can see here, 2 equal poles, well, that can lead to a great friendship. But the source argues that sexual tension is really generated by that masculine-feminine polarity. These points here kind of summarize several of the big principles from the text. We're talking about a man with a mission, someone who is present and secure in who he is, someone who doesn't bend his own reality just to get approval. This consistency between words and actions, that's what builds a foundation of trust that desire can actually stand on.
And that brings us to our final pillar, number 4. This one focuses on creating an environment of trust where a deep, intimate connection can really flourish. You could say this is where all the previous pillars finally come together. Okay, this is a huge point the source makes. It's about reframing what it calls tests. The argument is that these provocations or doubts are not personal attacks. Think of them more like unconscious checks for your emotional stability. Your response, whether you're calm and confident or reactive, signals whether you can be a safe harbor for her emotionally.
Wow, this is such a powerful core idea from one of the final principles. The source posits that, yeah, affection can stick around, but desire and the connection itself, they crumble without respect and admiration.
Love just isn't enough to sustain a relationship. Admiration for who you are is the real fuel.
And this, right here, this is the ultimate payoff. Your ability to calmly hold space for all of her emotions is what allows her to feel safe enough to finally let go of control. When she no longer feels like she has to manage her environment or her emotions when she's around you, that's where, according to this framework, true intimacy is born.
And that leaves us with one last thought from this whole framework. It suggests you shift your entire focus. Stop asking, how do I make her love me? And instead, start asking, how do I inspire her admiration? Because according to these principles, it's that admiration that ultimately nurtures both desire and a deep, lasting love.